Gozo is the second largest island in the Maltese archipelago, with an area of 67 square kilometers and a population of approximately 34,000 people. In Gozo, there are 15 public transport routes which connect all the villages to the capital Victoria and also to the port in Mjar. The Ministry for Gozo is one of 7 partners from 6 different European countries participating in the Interreg Europe eBussed project. The aim of the eBussed project is the exchange of experience and ideas between regions at different stages of eBus operation development and to improve the implementation of public policies to support regions transitioning towards low-carbon and sustainable electrified public transport.
Way back in 2018, the Gozo Directorate managed to secure EU funding from the Smiths project led by the Ministry for Transport and Infrastructure Projects to procure 6 fully electric buses and also to develop a park and ride facility in Tashaima. These 2 components are intended to alleviate the parking problem that exists in Gozo's only and main harbour. The electric buses were procured through a tendering process and were commissioned in 2020. Following the commissioning of the buses, these were routinely checked for performance before they entered service. As from last November, the buses entered service and they are now providing a park and ride facility from Talambert, an area near the heliport, to Mjar Harbour. They operate from 5 a.m. in the morning till 9 p.m. in the evening, with a frequency every 10 minutes during the rush hours and every 30 minutes during the rest of the day.
Throughout the eBussed project, each partner identified a number of local good practices related to eBus deployment.
One of the good practices identified by the Ministry for Gozo was that of the cost-benefit analysis. Before purchasing the electric buses for the park and ride service, the Ministry for Gozo did a study to find out the feasibility of such a service. What was concluded from such a study is that while this project may not necessarily generate a financial gain, it will positively impact the welfare of society.
The other good practices came from the pilot project of the first fully electric bus, which Malta Public Transport launched in January 2020, in conjunction with Transport Malta and TAM Europe.
So the aim of this pilot project was to test a fully electric bus in the Maltese Islands, which, as we know, in Malta we have hilly terrain, narrow roads, frequent stopping and very high temperatures in summer. So that was the main purpose of the project. Through the eBussed project, we identified 3 good practices from this pilot study. The first good practice was related to technological requirements and user interface. Basically, we did a pre-testing to test the electric bus in certain roads before boarding any passengers and doing the actual pilot study. In that way, we could identify the common issues that we had during the tests, and then we could identify the ideal routes. This exercise also helped us and our technical staff, as well as our drivers, to get used to working with an electric bus. Another good practice, still related to technological requirements and user interface, is the logbook. We kept a logbook in the electric bus where drivers could fill this logbook to get trip information, as well to get any driver feedback during the testing. And eventually this helped us to analyze the performance of the electric bus on the different routes. During this exercise, we could also identify any common issues during the tests and avoid having repeated problems in the day-to-day operation. Another good practice related to procurement and tendering is the pilot project in general, where this was the first step towards electrification, and by this pilot study we as an operator gained knowledge about operating an electric bus, as well as we could identify the main challenges in the local context, and eventually this will help us for future procurement of a larger fleet of electric vehicles.
During the final phase of the eBussed project, a local action plan will be developed. Based on the information exchange and the lessons learned from the good practices of other partners, the action plan developed will include measures needed for reaching the milestones for the electrification of public transport in Gozo.